Hafaday and good afternoon. Uh, I'd like to take a moment to thank you teachers for giving us your time to review our presentation on the Guam History Day. My name is Lavon Guerrero. I am an administrative officer here at the University of Guam's Micronesian Area Research Center. For the purpose of this program, I am the program manager, state coordinator. With me today is Mary Williams. I will present the introduction of this program. Mary will go into the details. Then I will come back with incentives for you teachers, and then close the presentation. So if you don't mind, Mary, please present yourself. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mary Williams, and I am a retired teacher. I've been teaching for 33 years, and I have had students do the GHD project for approximately 15 years. So every year, students have completed these projects and some of them have gone on to the national competition by starting out with the Guam competition.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and share my screen at this time. We have a PowerPoint presentation, and let me go ahead and share it. Here we go. Okay, Guam History Day. What is Guam History Day? In all honesty, Guam History Day is an annual academic historical research competition that is held every year here at the University of Guam during the month of March, Mes Chamorro. Guam History Day is geared towards 6th to 12th grade students throughout the island. That involves the public schools, the private schools, Dodea, the charter schools, as well as the homeschoolers. Every year, students participate in this program and vie to compete for a place to represent Guam at the National History Day competition in Washington, D.C. But why are we associated with a national organization? Let me give you some background about the NHD. National History Day is celebrating its 50th year of existence. This program caters to students throughout the nation, to all the 50 states, the territories, and to international schools such as Japan, China, and Korea. We are an affiliate program of the NHD, and as an affiliate program, we have teachers and students have access to the multitude of resource materials that they have in their cache, they have access to the different libraries and museums throughout the nation, to include the MARC. They also have very strong affiliations with the Library of Congress, the National Endowment for Humanities, World War II Foundation, the National Park Service, the Smithsonian Institute. All these organizations support this program because of the value that it extends to our youth. But why NHD and why Guam? Well, in 2007, the stakeholders of the Guam Preservation Trust were looking for a program that they can introduce into the schools that would help students become more involved in cultural preservation. And the stakeholders felt that we needed to begin creating a need to preserve our culture and our heritage in as early an age of our people as we can. And the NHD provides that opportunity for us. And so in 2007, the project-based initiative was introduced, and we have been, MARC, the Micronesian Area Research Center, has partnered with the Guam Preservation Trust in bringing the Guam History Day program to the schools. In 2011, the trust had requested that the University of Guam take control of the coordination and management of this program. We have done it since then, and every year we try to improve this program through extended hours here at the Mark, through tours, bus tours or school visits to the Mark that involved the RFK Library and the UOG Press. And then this year, we were very proud to partner with the UOG Press's cultural literacy program as a way to use their donated books as a means of resource materials for the Guam History Day contest. Now, what happens in this contest is that the NHD sets the annual theme of the competition, and we as coordinators bring that theme back to our home. And because it's a Guam History Day contest, all the projects that are presented at our event must be Guam centric. The project must be related to Guam's history. This year's theme is turning points in history. For the purposes of Guam History Day, it'll be turning points in Guam's history. With that said, that completes my introduction, and Mary will now go into the heart of this program.
So basically, it is a year-long program or a project that the students start from the beginning of the year. Usually, the earlier you start, the more time that they have to work on it, and it's for students within the grades of 6 through 12. So 6th grade through 8 would be for the middle school, and 9 through 12. And they're actually going to be competing in 2 separate competitions. One's for the junior competition, and the other one is for the senior competition. And basically, it's really led by the students. It's usually based on their interest. They get to choose a particular topic in Guam history, and then they will conduct historical research. They will interpret that information, and then they will have a creative ways of expressing that. And NHD has these categories that they set up. But remember, it should be broad enough for the students to be able to find good research, enough research, but narrow enough so that they can have a focus. And as a teacher, your goal is to guide the students. You know, there are times where you're going to have to do some mini lessons on how to find primary sources or the difference between primary sources and secondary sources and stuff like that. You will scaffold as you are teaching through that year. And then students, they will come up with a particular argument in history, a thesis, and while they're conducting their research, they should be able to find evidence to support their particular claim. And then as they have enough information to be able to draw an analysis of it, then they will be able to present their findings. And when they present their findings, NHD has 5 categories in which students are able to present, and again, that's GHD as well. And so these 5 categories are research paper, an exhibit, a documentary, a performance, and the newest category, which is website. They call it websites, website design. And along with their research, students are going to be creating, in all categories, they are required to create a process paper. It's basically explaining how they research, how they came up with their topic, what was the significance of their topic, and so on. So it really helps the students, guides them, and helps them think as they are creating their project. And in addition to that, with the process paper, they will have to create an annotated bibliography, and that's basically all of their research information. They would be able to cite them, and generally it's MLA citation. And then at the same time, they're going to be separating their primary sources with their secondary sources. And this is really important because that's something that in middle school and in high school, we try to encourage in literacy for students to know the difference between primary and secondary sources. And keep in mind the theme this year is turning points in Guam history. So a research paper, and again, the nice thing about NHD and GHD is they have 5 different categories, not like when you're creating a project for your students and you just have one particular way, a medium in which they're going to showcase their work, whereas NHD, it pretty much tries to open it up to the student's strengths. And so a research paper, and it's a competition, so they are fairly strict in terms of the number of words that they can have on a paper. So a paper has to be between 1,500 words to 2,500 words, and it's really it really is basically a research paper. And they're writing down, they're creating, they're showcasing their information in the way they write. And this, unfortunately, it would be great if you can have 2 students work on this, but this particular category they're only allowed as an individual. So one person writes the research paper. You cannot have a partner. And then the next category, I'm going to say this is a really cool category, especially for middle school, because they're able, those of us students that are extremely creative, they're very visual, they will create a museum exhibit. And this is basically creating a display. A lot of times it's a trifold, and it can be as tall as 6 feet tall and 40 inches in width, but they can also have a 3-dimensional exhibit. There are also dimensions that they have to build within, and that's the 3-dimensional one on the left. Some students I have seen in the past have created dioramas as well, and they take the skills that they learn in their literacy class and they apply that to their NHD. And so that's a very exciting way with students, those especially, like I said, that are very artistic, can display their work, and especially if they're very visual. And that's what we call an exhibit. And that you can do individually as well as with a partner, a group competition. And then the next category is a documentary. And so students that are really gifted and are skilled in creating video clips, this is very similar to what you would see on the History Channel, these documentaries. And they will do the same thing as what the other students in the do. They would basically do the research, come up with a topic, and then they have to figure out ways in which they're going to create a documentary, a video clip of that to tell their story, their findings. And like I said, this is a very popular category, and students would, like I said, if they are really skilled in video production, this is the category for them. And then the last one, which is, the second to the last one, is called a performance. And we have students that are extroverted, they love to perform, they love to be animated. This might be the category for them. They would basically be doing the same research. They would come up with a topic, go through the research process, come up with a thesis statement, and then they will be writing a script to tell their story and perform it as well. And this is also can be done as an individual, but they can also do this with a partner. And then the last one, which is actually seems to be in the last few years very popular, is called the websites. And this is, again, they can do this as an individual, or they can actually have a partner. And usually this the one, students, again, our students today are very tech savvy and they like working on a computer. They love working with websites. Then this is the particular category for them. And they can use a lot of videos um, and uh, and sometimes embed a video clip. And they would be using a website from NHD called NHD Web Center. And again, this is a very popular particular. And so you're probably saying, how do you do something like this? They generally, at a general timeline would be, students will start out in August and September with you can introduce this particular competition to the students. You can talk about different sources, citation. You want to bring out your different sources that you have in the classroom. Some of you have Sanchez and Carano, History of Guam book or Destiny's Landfall, anything to help them stimulate their their idea, come up with an idea, and sometimes Guampedia, anything that will help them figure out what topic do they really want to be able to do their research on. And then on October, you will talk about the theme, and they will have a better understanding what it means by turning points in history. And then they will commit themselves to a particular topic. And generally, I always tell students, if you're working with a partner, please make sure your partner is also as passionate about the topic as you are, because it makes it so much easier and much more exciting for the students to be able to do research and read on stuff that they're interested in. And then in December, you want to encourage your students to do an outline, in some cases a storyboard. A lot of times I would tell them, can you kind of map it out? Like if you're going to do an exhibit, you can use a slide and create the different areas in your board so you can kind of brainstorm and figure out how you're going to construct it. And then this is a really great time during the winter break for the students to be able to do a little bit more research and kind of refine their project even more. And then in January is a really good time for students to be able to get together, especially when they have a partner, and work in the classroom to be able to construct their particular project. Because a lot of times it might be difficult for them to be able to do it online, and they just want to have their partners there. And then in February, this is a good time because they should have completed their project, because the Guam competition is around March. And this is when you have projects completed and then select the top 3 in each of the categories to be able to go to the Guam competition, which is in March. And this is done, some of us, if you have several teachers that are doing this particular project, you can have a school competition, which really becomes real exciting. That's usually one of the most exciting times in my former school, where we invited judges from the community to come in, and the students get really excited when they have to stand there and answer questions that deal with their thesis statement, and they have dialogue with different judges about why was it important, why did they select that, and share with the judges what they've learned. A lot of times the judges say, well, I didn't know that happened in history, and it's a really exciting time for the students. And then in March, that's when the school, your school coordinator and the students gear themselves up. They probably have time that they're going to be working on it and polishing it up for the next competition level, which is what we call the state competition. On Guam is a Guam competition, and the students then get ready. They have to register with the coordinator, and then they have to upload their projects, and if it's an exhibit, generally they'd have to bring it in to the University of Guam. Then you're asking, so why should I do this particular Guam History Day project in my classroom? I have been doing this, and I remember the first time that I was trained at the University of Maryland. I really wasn't understanding exactly why was it so exciting for the students, all the students around the nation. They came in, they're collecting buttons, they're meeting one another, and then they are preparing for this. Why? Because it teaches them history. They learn about their history. Students become engaged. They start having dialogue. They talk to one another. There's so much learning that goes on when students are communicating with one another and they're working on it. It really adds a lot to your curriculum. It makes it exciting when you're able to showcase and give GHD, have students do GHD, they can learn what is the difference between primary and secondary. They actually go and look for these sources that your book has people that wrote it, and they actually had to find the sources for the students to become the historian, which is different from reading a book versus actually going out and doing that research. It definitely promotes high academic standards. And I have looked, after 15 years, I have looked at the data. I have been on school improvement to be able to see that the before and after, as we normally will collect it, to be able to support that the students are learning. Their literacy scores and their problem solving scores have gone up with engagement of this program. It definitely encourages literacy. Students have a tendency to want to read more when they're interested in their topic and they select that topic on their own. Like I said, it enhances assessment. It teaches critical thinking because a lot of times they're asking questions. They're asking questions from the teacher's asking them questions and looking for answers. So it really promotes what we want students to be able to do as 21st century students, is to think critically. It inspires curiosity, and I'm gonna tell you, when I have gone around and worked with students on all these different topics, there are times where I just want to stay with one particular topic because I've not heard about it. I become more curious. I go and start reading more because the students have found something interesting. So can you imagine how the students would be curious about reading more, and the more curious they are, the more that they're going to do research. And it really gears this particular project to the students' strengths. So we have students that are visual, and they will gravitate towards that particular strength of theirs. I call it the superpowers of the student. And some of them, they're just very kinesthetic, and they want to move around and they want to do things. And it really, like I said, they get to choose a particular project that goes together with their strengths. I always say their superpowers. And in addition to that, it promotes a, a responsible student in terms of their community, their history. It's so funny when you hear students, when they start coming up with they'll say, Mrs. Williams, they did that a long time ago. Say, yeah, haven't we come a long way from there? So then they learn and they appreciate what they have today, but they also understand how a lot about themselves and how they became who they are today. And they learn from history, and that's what we want them to do. We want them to be able to preserve the history, to be able to learn about it, and help archive the history that we are slowly losing every day. Lavon, I can't hear. Unmute.
Thank you. So now you know that this is a student-led, teacher-guided program. Students choose their topics based on the annual theme. They conduct their research, choose the format to which to share their findings, and then they go to the University of Guam to participate in the Guam History Day Island-wide contest. This is a community-driven effort through the collaboration of students and teachers, educators, historians, and professionals who all come together to select the winner of the GHD. The winners of our competition have the opportunity to compete in the annual National History Day contest in Maryland. This year, we plan to send a team to the University of Maryland. Also, at this year in June, because of the Mawar typhoon, our students were not able to go to the nationals and instead presented their projects virtually. And this is, although we were here, it was quite exciting because at the national contest, at the national event, in the opening ceremonies, they did a shout out to Guam. And it was really nice to see the whole students from throughout the nation and some wishing us well, and also the executive director Kathy Gorn, who is always so very busy, popped her head in to say hello to our students as they were being interviewed by the judges. So it was such a heartwarming time for us. We felt very appreciated by the NHD. And so this is again at the students all vie to compete for an opportunity to represent Guam at the national contest. And here we go. We're showing a team of students that were out there. Again, the students are on this campus, the University of Maryland campus, with 6,000 other students. And it's such a great, exciting moment. Our students forge great friendships with other students from throughout the nation. And some of them have still have friendships with some of the students that they meet here at this contest. So who are the schools that participate in the Guam History Day program? As you can see, the middle school, we have Anderson Middle School, McCool Middle School, Dominican Catholic, St. John's, Science is Fun and Awesome, and we have Antlan Middle School. They are the only middle public school participating. And I'll tell you this right now, Antlan Middle School has an incredible program out there. There's a lot of cross collaboration between the history teachers, the social studies, the English, and that's what makes this program work for them. And that's the beauty of this, of the GHD, is that teachers can collaborate and cross teach this program. In the high schools, we have Father Duenas Memorial, George Washington, Guam High, Harvest, JFK, Notre Dame, and St. John's. Some of the private schools don't have a program, an active program in the schools, but they know the value of being participant in the National History Day. It looks good in their application when they decide to go to college. And really the skill sets that the kids walk away with, it's really incredible. They become better researchers. They learn how to write. They become critical thinkers. They know how to do analytical thinking and thought processes. A lot of our students have come back who have graduated from schools, have actually come back to express their appreciation of being part of the Guam History Day program because of the skill sets that they walk away. But the overarching beauty of it all is that a lot of the students have a better appreciation of our history, a different perspective of the different events and the people who are part of our history. It allows them to engage with our monomcos, their parents, and talk about history. And so that's really very important. Some of the kids that have graduated and gone on to college have actually chosen to incorporate cultural elements into their course study. We have a student who's a medical student who has decided to focus on indigenous practices in his discipline. So some of these things are, I mean, the influences and the encouragement that this program gives is just incredible. Again, the kids walk away with all these skill sets. They enjoy the independence and the independent learning that they receive from it, and even the group effort that they gain in participating in this program. The teachers, they like this program because it provides them with a culturally relevant curriculum. It's project based. We provide educational tools that help them guide their students. They can participate in webinars that the NHD provides them, and then in the summer, they can apply for a scholarship with a student to attend the summer institutes that the NHD offers. Uh, One group of our people of our students went to France for the Normandy invasion. We had another student who went to Hawaii for the Pearl Harbor invasion. So these are some of the activities and the events and the programs that, I mean, this is the program, the NHD program, and this is what they can do for us here in Guam. It's such a worthy program that in 2020, when COVID hit, we went into hiatus because our contest is a face-to-face program, and COVID, of course, we were all in quarantine, so we had to step back to reevaluate how we we're going to move forward. During this period, the schools who did participate in Guam History Day, and the schools as well as the students, approached us and asked us if we were going to continue Guam History Day. They found the value, they found it to be worthwhile, and the value that they walked away with was was really great for them. And so in 2021, I was able to secure a grant from the Office of the Governor in their youth empowerment program to reinstate the Guam History Day program. And as such, here we are today now, and we're wanting to extend this great program and all the opportunities that it offers to our public schools. Our program statistics show that the public school is the most underrepresented group within our program, and we'd like to reverse that. We would like to reverse that, and we like to get our students, our public school students, more involved in. How do we go about doing that? This is what we want to offer you, the GHD teacher initiatives. So the first 10 teachers who respond to the link below will be sponsored. We'll have a sponsored enrollment to the methods course that we will be offering in September. So the program will run from September 29th to November 3rd. This course will be taught by Joe Kinata. He's the Guam Preservation Trust program officer. He has been the regional director for the NHD. And so he knows the NHD program, he knows the platform. So he will be teaching the 6-week course. The teachers who complete this will get 3 equivalent points, the CEUs upon completion. The teacher that adopts this program and participates in GHD will get a $300 stipend. So we're really looking for ways to entice you and get you to participate in the GHD. It's been a very rewarding program for the University of Guam. It's very exciting. We love to see the students participate. The most incredible and creative projects that have come through are it's just a very exciting time. And so it is my hope that we can get the middle school as well as the high school teachers involved in the Guam History Day. Again, I want to say thank you for your time and allowing us to provide this professional development session with you. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you at the Guam History Day competition. Thank you. Have a good day. So if you any questions or anything, I know Vince reached out and asked if we can offer help in terms of getting into the Library of Congress and the National, what is it, the Navy Archives, Vince? The
Yeah,
Navy.
Naval Archives. Since we're pretty much, I mean, it's required on Guam centric to be Guam centric. Much of the information that our students are able to grab from Mark is limited to what Mark collection is. There's an inordinate amount of information in Naval Archives on the various reports or reports on incidences that may have occurred. For example, the walkout of the Congress. All of that is contained within the archives. However, you know, even as myself, as as uh, as I've plied the waters and trying to get that, I mean, you're talking about volumes, thousands of volumes that in order for you to get access to them, you kind of have to figure out how they work. Um, so it would be good if we had that kind of support for the teachers.
Okay.
The thing that I can say about the positivity of Guam history participation, our alumni, uh, as they've gone and matriculated onto high school, their passion and interest in Guam history continues. And we have a couple of students who one was able to go to Normandy on a summer institute, and he was given a scholarship to go to Normandy for a couple months, in which he conducted World War II history and discovered that there was, in fact, yeah, everyone on Guam was thinking, oh, nobody was involved in the invasion at Normandy on the European side. And lo and behold, he discovered the name, happens to be a relative of our namesake, our school's namesake, but he had he was a mess attendant, and when the invasion started and the bombardment of the vessels and the landing crafts by the German defenders, he volunteered because of the Higgins boats. The landing crafts were all getting damaged, and they were losing valuable, talented men. He volunteered and jumped into the boat, not even having any training whatsoever, and he drove the boat. Unfortunately, on one of his runs, now these guys dropped off the men, and then went back out, loaded up, and went back. So it was probably his fourth run when a mortar hit the boat, and all the men perished, it sank, and he died. So we didn't know this. Also, researchers found the men who perished in the invasion or the bombing of uh, Pearl Harbor.
Mhm.
And so there are some that there's, or I believe 6 men from Guam who actually, now these guys are Peace Corps. The other one, his brother, younger brother, 1 grade down, is working now for, I believe, the Foreign Service, if not the CIA, as an analyst. So it was all from all of these experiences that they had in researching. Uh, they honed their skills, and that talent was tapped on, and they're now serving in capacities that no one would have thought that they would do. So the first 5 years, I did it as a club. I am the only Guam history teacher in middle school, and I wasn't able to work it into the way the school was being run at the time. So for 5 years, I ran it as a club. That was a very difficult time, but as much as you want to say, I give up because it's a lot to carry. Yes, it is. But our principal, admin, after the wins and seeing what a valuable program this could offer our students, not only our students, but as our teachers too, and the experiences of going off island. For many in the public school, and that as public school teachers, very few actually leave the confines of their village. I was surprised and shocked over the years to find out that a large percentage of our students have never been south of the crossroads over at Route 4, Route 1 intersection. They've never turned left. Most of the students say that they have never been around the island. So it gives them an opportunity to experience, to broaden their horizons and see what potentials they have. I would encourage all the teachers to do this. Yes, it is a little difficult, and onerous, but if you have the passion and the commitment for your kids, they're going to surprise you, as George and I have experienced, and Hannah and Val from our schools, they've all experienced, and now Rodney. So we have buy-ins, and teachers are seeing the benefit of that. And we were able to tap into all of the skills. All the curriculum teachers are glad and totally willing to review, to help out, especially if it's from their teams. Thanks for the opportunity to share.
George, did you have something you wanted to add?
Oh yeah, sure. As public school teachers, we all know we're facing an uphill battle, right? Our kids many times do not have the parental support. Many of your admin don't support you. A lot of you don't have even computers or laptops. I know some of you are mentioning that, but it just goes back to why we became teachers, right? Just seeing that light bulb go off. We've had students who were working out of sanctuary, and they only had limited computer access, and they had to get special permission just to work on their project. We had students that had to walk over a mile. I know it sounds like those old stories, but they had to walk over a mile to get to UOG to do their research. We have students who are most of a large portion of our population is on the welfare programs, and so yes, it is a hard fought battle, but man, when you see, and I drag my kids kicking and screaming, a lot of the other teachers know it. I have a large number of students that participate. None of them are pre-AP. None of them, most of them don't want to be a part of it. And I have to force them for about the first quarter. But then as they start seeing their work come together, and then they start building that confidence, and then more importantly, when they win, one thing the theme that these kids always tell me at the end of the year is, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I had the capability. I never thought I could win. Consistently, every year, our public school students don't think they have it in them, but they do. And when you get them to that point, it kind of just unlocks this potential in them. And now they don't feel like they're trapped in the life that they've been stuck in for, now they see that they can work their way out of welfare or out of these systems that their families have been stuck in. And that is the biggest reward in this program. It's great. I've been on Vince and we try and send the other teachers have all been on the trip. That's wonderful. The money is good, but just unlocking that potential in our kids, just seeing that light bulb go off. And at least one or two kids per year, you see that light bulb go off. That just is really what makes it worthwhile for me. That's all.
Thank you, George. That's really great. And you have an amazing team out there at Antolin Middle School. And you guys are just so great. And yes, you produce all the winners for our contests. And so I thank you. And we want to get the rest of the public schools as well as the Dodea and all the other schools. We want more participation because this is such a great program, and everybody wins in the end. So thank you. And, I wanted to offer that, the past year, we have been able to provide um, uh, supplement some transportation support for the schools who want to come to the mark to do their research. And what we've done is we did a three-prong approach where there are libraries limited to about 15 people. And so what we've done is the schools that have like 45, usually it's 45 students, we would break it out into teams of 3, and then we would have them visit the library. We have the students, one team visit the library for about an hour to 2 hours. The next team will be with the ULG Press. This is part of our partnership collaboration. The ULG Press will assist the students, and they will do a mini writing workshop on the theme. And then we also have the RFK librarians step forward to assist in teaching how to do annotated bibliographies and how to write process papers. These are some of the things that we here at the Mark are doing to try and help the teachers, to try and help the students. We open our libraries on Saturdays, so if the students cannot make it after school, Saturday morning or Saturday, the whole day actually, the students can come and conduct their research, and their teachers, some teachers do come with them. I know that Mr. Emmanuel does make special visits with their students on a Saturday, but this is so doable. And I ask, please don't be intimidated by the whole NHD process. It's really workable, it's doable. And in the end, as I said, this is the most exciting and rewarding outreach program that we hold here at the University of Guam, because we love to hear, we love to see the students walk away just thrilled and happy that they were able to do it, and guarantee they're always willing to come back and do it again. So we want this for you. We want to be able to showcase the talents of our kids, and it is our hope that you would all participate. And again, thank you again for allowing us your time, and we do hope to see you at the GHD. Thank you, and have a great day.